All right, well, it looks like we got some people on here now. I had to hook my camera up there. I just about forgot to do it. I do apologize for that. And we're going to talk about the threats for severe weather as we get into the late afternoon and this evening. Now, this does look like it's about down my chair there. Turn the heater off. Kind of chilly in my office here. All right, so of course, lots of hype out there on social media today, and you know, a lot of times, I'm one of these people, and good morning to everybody. I'm one of these people that are kind of against the hype game. I think it's stupid. I think it winds up scaring people more than anything else. It doesn't serve the purpose. Um, but today, things are going to change quickly. There's still some question marks in regards to how all this will come together and whether or not we will um, uh, see the significance of this severe weather event actually what we call realized. Um, there are some things in the atmosphere that look really dangerous, but there's some things in the atmosphere that also might keep that from actually happening. In my line of work, it's always better to forecast the don'ts rather than the do's. Because for whatever reason, the don'ts usually wind up winning out over the do's. Um, with that said, I still think there's going to be some nasty winds, not only with the line of thunderstorms, but even as this storm system, and it's going to come together in a hurry as it ramps up this evening and overnight. There's going to be strong winds with it in general, even outside of thunderstorms, especially as the dry line kicks through. We need some strong winds. It could be some power outages just with what we call pressure gradient winds alone. Now, with that said, and please, people, if you're on, don't leave me. I mean, I haven't gotten to the good stuff yet. Oftentimes, we'll start on Facebook Live. People will get on when they, and then they'll just leave for whatever reason. And somebody told me I ramble on too much, and you're probably right. I probably do. But there's a lot to discuss today. There's a lot to get into. There's a lot of things that you look at here. Treat this more as like a stream or a streamer, what a streamer would do, rather than just a forecast here, because that's what I'm really doing here. YouTube, Facebook, we are we're streaming is what we're doing here. If you're kids or if you are a streamer yourself, you kind of understand what I'm saying. All right, so let's start by looking at the Storm Prediction Center and what they have out for today. Now, remember the Storm Prediction Center, and these guys, I'm not definitely not slamming these guys at all, because there are some great forecasters up there, and they have a lot of good knowledge and a lot of knowledge to things that I don't have, or knowledge. They have access to. Things that I don't have access to. So these guys are really good at what they do. So I'm not trying to take away from that. Okay. It looks like my green screen's a little bit fuzzy behind me here this morning. All right. So a lot of your hype with a lot of these meteorologists. Of course, today's a really good day for them to get to get lots of likes and follows and that kind of thing. Kind of comes from this. Some of these guys are really good forecasters. There's a guy in Oklahoma that I watch. His name is Todd Rasmussen. I tried to hire him, and we tried to have him work at Channel 6, and it almost worked out, but he lives in Ardmore. But I think Todd is oh man, he is a great forecaster. I've been watching his stuff, and he has been really good with what he said. I really love Todd. I wish he worked with us. I really do. I wish he was a part of my team. I want to find a way to make him a part of my team. He's a really good forecaster. And I don't say that about many people very often. And also something else I don't do very often is I don't get impressed with weather systems very often. Yeah, it's just hard to impress me for whatever reason in the world of weather. All right, so this is the Storm Prediction Center, and again, a lot of those guys out there, when they start seeing these big, scary words up there, they start to get on their social media pages and start hyping it up here. So what the Storm Prediction Center does is they have a checklist of things they look at, and when they check them off, they'll say, well, typically speaking, um, when we have this present, this is the category that we should go with. So what they've done is there's actually 5 categories. The first would be a marginal risk, the second slight risk, the third enhanced risk, the fourth is moderate risk, and the fifth is kind of a rare high risk. So what you can see is today that big red area there, that is a moderate level 4 moderate risk. They don't issue these that often, but typically when they do, there's something in the atmosphere that they look at that's on that checklist that they check off and say, wow, this could really be dangerous. A lot of times they'll issue moderate risk when the tornado potential is high, or the widespread wind potential is high. And today, this moderate risk has been issued for the widespread nature of the strong winds that will accompany this line of thunderstorms. And folks, again, I don't get that impressed with systems, but this system is coming together so fast. There's a lot of wind. There's a ton of wind energy with it. And any thunderstorm that can develop and can have access to that wind and can find a way to get that momentum down to the Earth's surface, is going to produce hurricane force winds. And it looks like that's a pretty strong bet across western and central Oklahoma this evening. Now, further to the south, and I'm going to get into that here in a few minutes, there's some things that become more in question across northwest Texas and southwestern Oklahoma. So we'll get into that part of the detail in a minute. Like I say, the do's, and we'll get into the do's and the don'ts in a minute. So let's look at their categorical risks here. And if we look at the categorical risks, there's your hail risk. And you can see when they have that little black hatched area, that means there's a chance for enhanced hail or larger hail. So at least over most of western Oklahoma, eastern Panhandle, down into far northwest Texas, Storm Prediction Center has a threat for some pretty significant hail. But there's your moderate risk there. That's why it's there. That purple area you see, that 45% area there, that's for those strong winds we were talking about. And I am confident that there's going to be some dangerous winds with this line pushing through, especially Oklahoma. Now there's your tornado potential. Now yesterday at this time, it was at 5%. The Storm Prediction Center has actually upgraded that a little bit into the 10% hatch category. So what that means basically is 10% usually is kind of enhanced type thing. And the hatch would mean there's a chance for a strong tornado or two in those areas. So that's from the Storm Prediction Center. So, with that said, the wind energy alone in the atmosphere would be enough to create a strong tornado, a pretty significant tornado, if we could find a way to stretch the atmosphere out from the cloud down to the Earth's surface. If we could find a way to pull the wind shear out of the storm down to the Earth's surface. And this is where it gets real technical. To do that, you got to have an unstable layer of air between the ground and the bottom layer of the cloud. That way everything can condense, everything comes together, and you can get that tornado that comes down. But today, and like I say, it usually comes with an instability. But today, in my opinion, there appears to be what we call a little bit of a cap between the Earth's surface, where we live, where we can walk outside, and the bottom layer of the cloud. There appears to be a small bit of cap. And what a cap would be is, we'll show you here in just a moment. So let's go to some weather data. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the HRRR computer model. And we're going to talk a little bit more in detail about what we're seeing here. Let's go to a local view here. And let me make sure that, you can see that fine. All right, so those are hodographs, and I'll talk about a hodograph here in just a few minutes, so I'm not going to worry about hodographs right now. And I'll explain what a hodograph is. And, and a lot of this stuff is meteorological stuff, and that's, and if you follow me, I tell you a lot. The reason why I do this is to help educate you a little bit, so you'll know a little bit more about what we have coming in. And when you see it happen, you can say, oh yeah, I remember Ken was talking about that this morning. So let's talk about, first of all, let's go with dew point temperatures, because things are going to change in a hurry. Outside right now, it's overcast, it's foggy, it's cool outside. What we have is warm, moist air located across South Texas. And as this storm system rapidly comes together, it's going to rapidly pull that warm, moist air northward. So most of the day it's going to be kind of gross outside. And then all of a sudden, mid to late afternoon, it's going to turn warm because that warm front lifts up to the north. And if you look, these are dew point temperatures. And a dew point temperature is just simply to measure the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. Here we are, actually this is about right now. And then here we are into the afternoon. There we are at 2 o'clock, and there we are at 3 o'clock. You can see the blue area. That's your dew point temperatures going into the 60s. Typically speaking, when you get severe weather, low to mid 60s usually, and sometimes 50s, but mostly low to mid 60s, and anything higher would yield severe weather potential. It tells you your moisture is increasing. Here we are at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and you can see how we have moisture. And look at that line coming through there. That's the dry line. It's punching through quick this evening. And then once that dry line goes through, look at the dew points just dropping. That is a classic dry line. That is what a dry line looks like. So things are going to change in an absolute hurry this afternoon and this evening, moistening up. All right, so this is what radar could potentially look like this evening. So as you can see throughout the day, maybe a brief shower or two, doesn't look like much. And then here comes our storm system. This would be at around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Those would be storms developing along the dry line first across the Texas Panhandle. Now, I think those storms are going to be what we call elevated. Their bases are going to be high. I don't think there's going to be enough moistening in those areas to produce what we call surface-based thunderstorms up there. I think their bases are going to be high. Surface-based would be closer to the Earth's surface. There's a layer of the atmosphere once you get down into it, it's considered the Earth's surface. So it looks like those are going to be suspended aloft, mostly hail producers, at least to the start. Now, as we get into the evening, here we are at 6 o'clock. Notice those thunderstorms, 6, 7 o'clock. Really starting to go a big cluster now in western Oklahoma and starting to build down into southwestern Oklahoma. Now, this is your line of storms developing here. Initially, again, hail and some strong winds. Now, there may be an opportunity, especially at this point in time, if we get surface-based thunderstorms. If we can find a way to get that momentum past that stable layer in the atmosphere and down to the Earth's surface, not only are you looking at strong wind gusts, but there might be an opportunity for a tornado to develop in that, especially where you get these kinks in the line or these breaks or any type of supercell. We'll go out now. All right, so here is 8 o'clock. There's a big storm system that's moving into Oklahoma tonight. Let me see if I can find a way here to draw on here. I think I have a way to do it. Well, I thought I did, but I must have removed that from. I must have removed that from this particular scene here. Let's see if I can put one on here real fast. Sometimes it'll let me. Give me just a second. I want to be able to draw on here to show you. So if you'll give me just a second, I can do that. Appellation. No, I don't want that. I think it's an app I have to add to it. Yeah, there it is. Add source. All right, now let's see if this works here. I haven't used this in a minute, so it might take me a few minutes to figure this part out. So, well, you know what? I can't. I would have to figure out how to use this little drawing tool here. So I would rather, talk and just kind of talk you through this. Matter of fact, I can kind of go behind me here and kind of show you. Let's see if I can do this here. Let's go to a, dadgummit, I keep losing viewers. It's probably because I'm rambling on. All right, so I'm going to go to, I want to go green screen. There we are. There we are. All right, so Lucky's in here with me, by the way, so he's going to have to move out of the way. Move, Luck. Move, buddy. Move, buddy. Lucky is not wanting to move. Move, Lucky. Move, bud. Lucky, move. Lucky. Well, Lucky is not. Oh, shoot. Oh, man. Sorry, people. My green screen just fell down. Oh, man. I apologize, guys. I apologize. All the things that we do for our pets. Give me just a second while I fix this. Lucky created all of this. It's his fault. I blame Lucky. It's Lucky's fault, y'all. It appears as one of my it appears as though it's one of my my brackets is broken up here. So, and this is brand new stuff too, so it shouldn't be doing this. Give me just a second. Oh. All right. Now what am I like? Shoot. All right. We probably just lost a bunch of viewers, Lucky. I should have just kept what I was doing. All right, people, I'm sorry. I'm almost back. Just give me a second. My dog knocked my stuff down. You know, I was letting him be in here with me while I did this, and he knocked everything down. So, give me a second. All right, now. Lucky is out of the way. Now let's try to talk a little bit more. Now, let me see here. All right, now, well, where were we at? I don't even remember where we were at. Everything just fell down. And when I get off this, I got to fix all this. Looks like I got a little bracket that's broken up there. All this is just a big green sheet. All it is behind me here. So, but anyway. All right, so we got this energy that's back into the Texas Panhandle. It's moving into Oklahoma tonight. So what we call big upper level, a lot of upper level energy moving in here. And that's despite there being a little bit of a cap in the atmosphere, that's still producing. It's just got so much lift and so much wind energy. It's still helping to produce this big line of thunderstorms up this way, this big area of storms. So that's where your main, what we call forcing is going. So your storms are going to be more driven across Oklahoma. They're going to be more widespread because of that. To the south, we're just south of this. We're talking about northwest Texas, southwest Oklahoma. We're just south of the main forcing. So you don't have quite as much lift down here. So that keeps storms a little more isolated in nature. So if capping doesn't win out down this way and doesn't become an issue here, then all of a sudden we got more discrete thunderstorms trying to develop on the southern end of this line here. And there will be a little bit better moisture quality down this way too. So if these storms can develop and become supercells, then they have a little bit more of an opportunity to take advantage of the strong winds throughout the atmosphere if they can become surface based. That means if they can stretch out, if they can find a way to get that energy down to the Earth's surface, and they don't remain suspended aloft, then you have that opportunity anyway for storms to become a little bit stronger, a little bit more intense. So let's go back to my main screen here. All that mess happened whenever I tried to go and do stuff on the green screen there. So, man, it says I have 0 viewers on Facebook now. Did you guys leave me? I don't know. I don't know what happens. There's 78 viewers here, 79 viewers. Okay. All right. So anyway, that is the Her computer model. Let's continue to kind of, and again, if you do get supercells and you got the hail risk goes up, the wind potential goes up, and you do have a risk for some tornadoes there too, if that happens. Now here you are at about 8, 9 o'clock. There's that line from moving into the western side of Oklahoma City where there's going to be some really strong winds. With that line extending down into northwest Texas. I still think that, especially the further south you go across North Texas, there's a little more capping that might keep these storms from being quite as intense wind producers as what you're seeing up to the north. But I still think there will be some strong winds there, pockets of hail, and especially where you can get these little dents in the line, it gives them a little bit of an opportunity to rotate some. Let's see if it'll let me pull up a sounding here. Folks, that's what we call it. And this is what we call a sounding. And that's really ugly, to be honest about it. If you look at the red line here, the red line would represent temperatures, okay? The red line going up. Notice as it goes up, it doesn't, all right, so this is the temperature profiles are slanted, okay? So whenever the temperatures go left, they're cooling when this line goes to the left. When it goes to the right, it's warming. So you're basically looking at from the Earth's surface up to about 5,000 feet in the atmosphere. The atmosphere looks kind of stable here. Your instability is above all of that. So even though you got really strong wind shear, very strong wind shear, there's still that issue of capping here. And I just can't help but feel that that's going to, keep these storms, from being tornadic maybe. That might help keep us a little bit, keep the storms more of a gusty wind threat. Even looking over towards Vernon, even looking into southwest Oklahoma, there's just this cap that's there. It's called convective inhibition. There's quite a bit of it. I mean, like I say, the wind energy's there for tornadoes, all right? And the wind energy's certainly there for widespread damaging wind gusts. But there's more to it than just that. There's the do's and the don'ts, like I was telling you a moment ago. The do's and the don'ts. The do's are strong wind shear. That's there. Strong upper level wind. Lots of wind energy. Tons of wind energy. Instability's the lacking factor here. And a more significant severe weather, or let's say a more significant tornado event. If there were a little bit more in the way of instability, or if the storm system were coming through during peak heating, when you had sunshine outside, it's warm, the situation would be different. But I just can't help but feel that, that there's going to be some issues, though, with instability. So that's the don't part of the forecast. Remember what I always say, the don'ts usually outweigh the do's. So with that said, I believe anyway that, of course, we are looking at a severe threat. I do think the Storm Prediction Center will probably issue a tornado watch this afternoon. And maybe even a PDS, severe thunderstorm watch. Maybe a PDS is something that the Storm Prediction Center issues. It says that it particularly dangerous situation when they issue those. They do issue it from time to time, and the dangerous situation in this type of situation would be damaging wind, strong wind gusts, widespread strong wind gusts, kind of like a derecho, something like they see in the upper Midwest in the summertime. I know it's a little early in the year to be talking about this, but weather patterns as of late have just been this way. So, all right. So ask questions now. I've got my question thing put up here. Now's the time to be asking questions if you have any, and then we can. Then I'm gonna go and my plan for the day is this. I'm gonna go into the station probably, around 3 o'clock ish. I would think 3, maybe 4 o'clock. Garrett's coming in about that same time too. Actually, Garrett's gonna probably come in a little earlier. He's taking the tracker west. So he's going to get on the storms as they develop, so we can watch them that way, and we'll know, when there's, we'll know what they're looking like as they develop. All right, so we'll have a good idea. So I'm going to go in around 3, and we're going to most of our coverage again will probably be done on social media. But if we start getting, widespread severe weather reports or widespread, looks like we're getting some widespread damaging winds in the area or any type of a tornado threat, we'll probably go on and cover up at least some programming. I don't like to do that, but if the threat is there, I'll do it. So that's my plan. I'll probably go in, but be looking for Facebook Lives this afternoon here and over on the News Channel 6 side of things. When I get into work, I usually do things from my computer system there. So it just makes it easier than pulling up Streamlabs here on my laptop. It's not as cool, but I mean, that's still the easier way to do it. So. Yeah, Darren, probably not a bad idea to head west. If you're going to chase this, I would try to head west. This is for storm chasers. I try to head west. I still think capping is an issue, but I mean, if you're going to see, the best place to storm chase will be as that stuff develops. Kind of eastern Panhandle, northwest Texas, southwest Oklahoma kind of area. Any chance of being upgraded to a higher risk later? I don't think so. Now I'll see. Branch wants to know. It would definitely be a high risk, I believe, if we had more instability in the atmosphere. I have no doubt it would be, but there's just not enough instability for that. Kristen, I have a line. I have that area or that area of storms getting to you between about 7 and 8 o'clock. In Vernon. She wants to know what Vernon's going to get. Between 7 and 8 o'clock, main threat there would be wind and some hail. And like I say, if things can come together, which I'm not sold on it, but if it can come together, there might be a bit of a tornado risk over there. We'll have to just kind of see how everything develops. Like I say, I'm just not sold on the tornado risk today, really. Some things are there, some things are not. So it's conditional. We'll put it that way. Very conditional. Graham, you're going to be south, I think, of a lot of the good stuff. There might be a little bit of a line of thunderstorms moving through down that way, maybe 9, 10 o'clock, but it doesn't look too bad. No, even if there aren't any strong storms with the line, there's going to be strong wind gusts. There will be wind gusts, even if there's not thunderstorms. But I don't think the weather's going to be too bad down towards Graham. Allie, I got that line of storms into Wichita Falls between 8 and 9 o'clock. Some strong winds, maybe some brief downpours. That's mostly what we're looking at. Maybe some smaller hail. Also, traveling from Ardmore to Iowa Park around 6 o'clock tonight. I think you'll be all right. I think that the stuff doesn't get into this area until closer to 8 or 9. So, you should be okay, I think, Paige. I don't know Newport. Are you talking about Newport, Oklahoma? Elgin, Diana. Elgin's in a pretty favorable spot for some really strong winds up there. Probably around 8, 9 o'clock time frame. Maybe a little bit sooner. Just a lot of times these lines develop and they move faster than what our computer models show. So as they develop, I'll be able to give you a more accurate time frame. But as of right now, I'm trying to give you, based upon what I'm seeing, idea. Once the storms hit, how long until they head out? These storms are going to be moving very fast, almost at the speed, the rate of speed at a car traveling on the highway. So they're going to be moving at 70, 75 miles per hour. So they're going to be moving through quick, and the fast movement will probably keep rainfall amounts down. So you probably won't even get that wet. Maybe a quick, brief downpour, but it won't last very long. Maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then it's through. Kathy, don't have storm anxiety with this, please. There's no reason to have storm anxiety with this. This is not one of those situations where you should. I've always had to say, if I'm worried about it, you should be too. I'm worried about the winds, especially in Oklahoma. Tornado threat, again, very conditional. I mean, there may be some tornado warnings, but actually getting, rotation of the Earth's surface is going to be, could be difficult to do. We'll have to kind of wait and see. David, no, I don't think so. I mean, he wants to know if there's anything that's going to change the instability. I don't think so. I mean, it's nighttime. It's going to come through at night. It's late February. You don't have a lot of sunshine, so no. I mean, we'd have to have to be moistening up now. We'd have to see sunshine now. It'd have to be pretty warm outside for this time of the year, and that system would need to go through before the sun goes down for that to increase. And it's not. It's coming through right at sunset. So. Juanita, Bowie area, that line will be weakening once it gets to the east of Wichita Falls, but I still think that it doesn't matter. I still think you're going to have some strong winds, 9, 10, 11 o'clock time frame, somewhere in there. I'm not sure, Patty, where Newport, Texas is. You'll have to tell me. Between Jacksboro and Bowie on Highway 59. Oh, okay. Again, weakening area storms over there. Still going to see some wind gusts with the line itself, but and that'll be probably closer to 10 o'clock or so. But I don't think it's going to be as bad as to your west, or at least that's the way it looks now. You're welcome, Diana. I appreciate you following me and watching me today. Trent wants to know how much rainfall we're going to get. Not much. Like I say, the fast movement of this is just going to go through quickly, and we're just not going to have enough time to generate much rain out of it. A quarter inch might be stretching it. Yeah, Kathy, I just don't believe in hyping up stuff. I just don't. I mean, I will if it needs to be. And I'll be honest, if we had that instability there, or if things were coming together at the right time, I would probably be telling you, hey, this is what we need to be watching. But I'm just for tornadoes, that is. But for wind, for winds, definitely. But for tornadoes, I just don't know. Just some things are missing for that. I'm not ruling it out, but I'm just saying I'm just not sold on it. Cache, Oklahoma, you're in a perfect spot for some pretty strong winds up there. Low tornado threat, but mostly a wind threat up towards you. Maybe a little hail too. Yeah, April, again, I understand storm anxiety. A lot of us have it, but try not to be worried about it. The chances of you actually being killed in a tornado are very, 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 very low. And I'm just not sold on this being, a big tornado threat down our way, or anywhere for that matter. Walters, Oklahoma, again, you're kind of on the south end of the line there. Just some strong wind gusts, probably I'd say probably 8 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock time frame. Strong wind gust, brief downpour, little hail, maybe a low end tornado threat if things can come together there. So. And I do appreciate y'all following. And if you were watching me earlier, I'm sorry, my dog knocked down my whole entire setup here. Lights were falling down, my green screen fell down, things were just falling down all around me. So. Remember to like and follow me on Facebook, not only on Facebook, but also on YouTube. You see the little things popping up there below the screen from time to time. That's how you can find me. Trying to grow these social media platforms. Very, very difficult these days. Typically speaking, a Facebook Live like this a year ago would have garnered 400 or 500 viewers. Today, I barely even got to 100, I think. So, things have just really changed with Facebook. So. Patsy wants to know how high will the winds get in Wichita Falls. Straight line winds can be very damaging. You're right, they can be, and I can foresee some 50, 60, 70 mile per hour winds down this way. That's possible. It's possible. But even outside of straight line winds, the winds with the storm system alone will be very strong. And I thank you for that, Carrie. I do appreciate you. Yeah, Lucky did create some shenanigans. Now he's over there in the corner asleep. Here, I'll show him to you. I will show him to you. Let's see here. Oops. And you got to remember, I'm just kind of in my little makeshift weather office. There's Lucky. After the shenanigans, there he is. Sound asleep. After creating that problem over there in the corner. Bad. Lucky, are you a bad boy? Are you good? No, he's a good boy. He's not a bad boy. Lucky, you a good boy? Are you a good boy, Lucky? He's a good boy. I forgive him for the shenanigans he created. He's good. All right. As you can see here, I got my little makeshift green screen there behind me. All right. Back to the questions here. And it looks like Garrett's calling me. All right, so I'm going to jump off here and be looking for Facebook Lives later today. Hold on. Hey, give me just a second so I got to jump off this Facebook Live real fast, all right? Just give me a second, all right?